Yo, 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 we back in this thing.
Hey, Mr. Man, how you doing?
I'm chilling, man. At least trying to chill. It's a little rainy day today, but it's not going to steal my joy.
It's raining in your parts. It's hot and sunny here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's hot. I just went for a bike ride and it was like, whoo, I had to hydrate afterwards.
Oh, I bet. So, for your bike rides, brother, what's your inspiration? Do you go different ways, different routes? Is it always the same one?
That's a great question. I have been exploring and, haven't been locked inside. I haven't seen much of outside, period, for the past 5 months. So I do things like go to spots I know and love. Like tonight, I went all the way down to Brooklyn Bridge and came back, went through Soho, a little bit of Chinatown, just to like see spots and see. It's kind of wild, all the stuff that's gone and closed and wrapped up and worn out. But the thing I do that's like my exercise, and man, listen, I call them my Iron Mountains. I go over the bridges. Ooh. Exactly. There's no joke. When you stay at home and you eat all day and you try and do that. It is very like, I think I can. I had to stop. I ain't gonna lie, I had to stop twice yesterday coming back across the Williamsburg Bridge.
More power to you, brother. That's a superpower to me. I ain't never ride a bike across a bridge. No.
It trips you out because it is inclined down. It's a gradual incline that just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming, and it's so long that you can't see it. Sometimes you're trying to be like, holy, but it's great. It's great. It makes your heart.
Listen, I ain't trying to be on no bike and it's actually a roller coaster ride. Over there, chicka, 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 chicka. You don't know what's about to come. You might drop, brother. No.
Are you not a roller coaster person?
I mean, I am. I used to be. I don't know about these days. These days I don't know. I mean, the last roller coaster I've been on was at Six Flags. It was King Dakar. That was the last roller coaster I went on, I think.
That's a good one. Wow, I love roller coasters. I love them. Even though I get to the top, like, oh man, why'd I do this? But I love them.
No, I love them. I'm more of a fan of the ones where your legs dangle. I like those. I like those as opposed to being in the thing and the thing just push you down. I don't really like those. I feel a little safer with I just feel better.
It's a little impressive.
Strap me in.
That's hilarious. That's great. What's your roller coasters? So what's going on? What you wearing? What you drinking?
Oh, so I just, I've been feeling very Harlem this week. I just got the shirt on, but that's sometimes when I gotta bark at people, get a little, the Harlem has to come out. I've now woven that into a lot of the things that I say in my place of employment. I let folks know, sometimes the Harlem comes out, the pre-gentrified Harlem, things I might have to draw back on my times back home to let you know that, it's about to get real. So sometimes.
Do you living in Philadelphia now, do you miss living in Harlem?
You know what? I do for a number of different reasons. One, when I was back in Harlem, I never drove anywhere.
Yeah.
Mainly because I didn't have a car. Mainly because I didn't have a license yet either. Small things. I mean, small things. And also because, public transportation is fantastic where I was near the 2 train, 3 train, 7 bus, 102, 101, all those things, right? So just get around. So I do miss just like leaving and being able to just go walk and go to all the stores, everything, and get back, no problem. Hop on the public transportation, do the transfers, all that stuff. Within 2 hours, you have a grand old time. We not have to worry about parking, etc. So I do miss those pieces, but I do like living in Philadelphia though, because again, in terms of costs, in terms of quality of living and the expenses, can't beat it. Can't beat that with a bat. In fact, I'm seeing a lot of New York license plates out here.
Really?
A lot.
Interesting. Well, that conversation definitely is to be continued.
Oh yes, for sure. So what you rocking, brother?
I got to give my EJI people, Equal Justice Initiative, and it's a beautiful logo. I love this logo. It's all justice. People also confuse it for Moore College of Art or Art Institute in Philadelphia. I get that because it gets very Coliseum-esque, but no, it's equality, lynching. Let's talk about it. Equal Justice Initiative, Montgomery, Alabama. Everybody should go visit and learn our history.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
You feel comfortable.
Talk about it. So what you got going on with the Brown this week, bro? Woo! Uh-oh.
The turn of the Mac.
Hey now. Back in the building.
Exactly. This was a bottle that was gifted to me as we started this. But I still have some of the other bottles. So today, what's about to happen?
Uh-oh.
About to happen.
I see that. Okay.
What you got?
Bringing back Tag Life. Pikesville's back. Pikesville's back. It's been a little bit of a week. Need a little rye.
Tell me about it. I'm telling you, the true Scotch.
Yeah.
First time.
There you go. A little bass.
Gosh. It smells like summer.
Oh yeah.
This one I've been noticing as we do this, and as stuff continues, my pores get bigger and bigger. You know, it's
a little sleight of hand.
Like, it's just like, I don't know.
You need enough. You need enough left to toast, brother.
Exactly.
That's why.
Planning ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So which one to toast to the air? Which one to toast to this week?
I want to toast to getting through the week and getting to another one. Realizing that there's a lot on the horizon that might be uncertain, but we have everything we need and more to get the job done. So just another time to be here with you too, brother.
To all of that, I will drink and sip and say, yes, I agree.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why I have to pour more. I always notice you take one sip and pour it down a taste. I'm like, oh, gotta go back in for two.
Woo. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a little query to open us up with, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Question. You know, we're talking about these crazy times we live in. You know, the mask life is real. For every 10 times you leave your house, how many of those times do you forget your mask?
You know what? That's what happened. So what I try to do is I leave my mask on my key hook with my keys. And there are times when I grab my mask and then, I grab my keys. And what I've started doing, so I don't really forget, is have a checklist. I think it's funny now because I think I'm more liable to leave my wallet and forget my wallet before I leave the house than my mask now.
Wow.
Because it's just one of those things that is like, cell phone, wallet, mask, it's like when you're packing the bag now, these are the things you need to think about. So I haven't really left my mask, except one time the other day I caught myself. I'm like, yo, did you really just leave the house without your mask? you just walked outside, everything was cool. Because there's sometimes I might get used to it, whether I'm going to take out the trash, whether I'm just walking to the corner real quick just to, get something from my car because I might have forgot my cell phone in the car, or whatever the case may be. So I don't think I've really forgotten my mask, only because it's literally right there at the door. And I haven't been leaving the house as much. Ask me that question next week. Chances are I'll probably forget it a lot. What you need to do, what Amanda does, she has one that she leaves in her car, so that way she'll always have it when she's going out and about, which I think is a smart thing to do as well. So I try to be vigilant. There are some times I forget, but I haven't forgotten as much. But I'm liable to that guy who leaves without taking his wallet sometimes.
Well, of course, Amanda is the smart one.
Oh, of course.
In the space, all of us. Yeah, I would say for me, it's a good 5 out of 10 times.
Oh yeah.
I'm on a 6-foot walk up.
Oh.
Get downstairs. I went down today, and I was halfway down the block, and this woman runs out of buildings, and she cuts me off, and I see her mask. I was like, oh man. And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, no, it's not that. to turn around and climb my steps.
My goodness.
And for me, because I'm in a shared built space in other apartments, I get inside, I have to wash my hands, have to dry them off, put the mask on, and then get back downstairs, sneak downstairs, put on the hand sanitizer because I have to touch so many different things throughout the building. It's a pain. It's a pain. Like a 6-foot walk up. When you forget something, it's usually like, oh wow, we ain't gonna have that today.
Brother, it's like you essentially going through customs every time you leave and come home. That's crazy.
That's exactly what it is. My own enforced custom situation.
Yeah, you gotta check all this other stuff, do all these things, That's wow.
That's what it is. Yeah, because I'm in a space with all these people, and the people in the building are having parties, and there's lots of people coming and going. So I don't even know who's like coming in and out. So I gotta touch. I gotta pull on this hand to open the door. I walked on the banister like that. Don't touch nothing, But you gotta touch stuff to get out of the building. So as soon as I get out, and I don't like hand sanitizer. I'm not a big fan of it. I like the smell and how it makes you feel dry. But you gotta do what you gotta do. This is 2020. Like the world is real.
Absolutely. And just listening to you talk, you have hand sanitizer, you have Clorox wipes, all these things that have become popular now, even more so during this time. I'm wondering what innovations or what creations and inventions might come from this moment that we're in. Are we going to see more automated stuff in the sense of like automated doors or automated keyless entry things? Like, I want to know what is going to happen. Are we going to have fobs again to our buildings now? Like, I want to know what the design is going to look like to prepare for the next time something like this happens.
We also be thinking, what are we going to design as a benefit? What's that like, brother? Don't forget your mask tool that we can put together.
Yes.
That made me think of something, but I forgot it. What's coming next? What are you thinking about?
Well, while you're thinking about it, brother, I'm thinking about you think they have like mask vending machines, like all those little mask dispensers, the thing, back in the day, they used to have other stuff inside the bathroom, for a quarter or whatnot. Now, you get a little mask.
Sense. Is your mask played out? Get a new one for $1. Seriously.
Listen.
You know what trips me out? You know I'm in New York, so you got the brothers that sell that the shea butter rub. Now they got like the shea butter, the incense is like this little section, and then there's a whole thing of hand sanitizer, mask, gloves, everything. It's amazing. I was like, good, do it, y'all, do it. Like, keep up with the times. I'm not mad. Not mad. They still got the crazy New York tchotchkes, and then there's a whole section.
So, do you think the mask is becoming the new fitted? You got your do-rag that matches your mask. Your mask match your Timbs and your Jordans.
I've seen it. I've seen people like with the mask matching the kicks. I'm like, I'm not mad. I remember my thing now. One of my life hacks that I did, and I've had serious thoughts of like, where are all these masks going? Because these don't seem like biodegradable efficiently. They can't be officially green. They need to be problematic and full of all kinds of stuff that's going to be on the earth forever. But I just think like, it's going to be like another like island of masks that are going to float from a trash dump or something. It's bad. But my life hack that I figured out, instead of buying those Clorox sheets, and I love that, I bought some alcohol, like some real serious isopropyl alcohol big bottles. And what I do is I get paper towels and put them in plastic bags and then like shake some alcohol in it. Use those as rub downs. Cause when I ride the bike, I'm like a crazy old man. I'm sitting like this, wiping everything down. I get my little baggie out, pull it out, be like, what? Wipe the handbars down, wipe the seat, right where my knee might touch, off the bell. Cause that's a communal situation. You're buying their mothers up on that thing. People are like,
oh yes, oh please.
And it's the kind of thing now. I cannot imagine ever not doing that. How do we ever not do all the stuff we're doing right now?
That's a good question. Have we just been a nasty country that didn't practice good hygiene?
Exactly.
I don't know.
And these kind of things are typically last for 2 years, not for one.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't hit year one. March, April, May, June, July, August. In terms of us here, with our behavior in America, reach on month 6.
Mm-hmm.
In Asian countries, they started in December. And then the word spread. So, my dog. I'm hopeful, but I don't know.
Listen, man, I don't know either, because when you think folks are starting to learn, and when you think folks are starting to care about other people, there's always something that pops up that proves that situation to be false. And it's like, okay, if we're going to make it to 2021, there are some things that we need to agree to do. You might not agree with it 100%. You might think there's an infringement on this, that, and the third. But if we're talking about getting to 2021, there's some things we just need to do.
You just dropped one of my favorite colloquials. This, that, and the third. It's so clear. It's so clear. We're talking about, yeah, I was talking about this, that, and third. Like, clear. That means you're talking about 3 things.
Yes.
There's no guessing around it. I looked. Like, the first I heard that, I was like, this, that, and the third. Okay, yeah, that makes complete sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just heard 3 things pointed out. What don't you know?
I love it. That should be a framework for like a presentation. You know, you give an overview. It's like, oh, so today we're going to talk about this, that, and the third, and then we'll have Q&A. We'll have Q&A.
This will be my introduction. That'll be my body. The third will be the conclusion. What's up?
We could teach a whole English class. This is how you write a persuasive argument. You have this, that, and third.
That's the name of the class. Come on, let's do that. Let's do that. This, that, and the third, the power of the colloquial.
Yes.
We have a line around the block.
Yes.
We have a line around the block.
That sounds like a virtual course we could offer.
Yo, let's do it. Let's do it. PG, $10,000 a head.
Let's go. And you can frame that to, you can attribute that to anything you want to do, whether it's giving a presentation, whether it's you writing a paper, whether it's you having a conversation, or you're doing speech and debate, public speaking, all those things. Frame it out. This, that, and the third.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Look at all these brilliant ideas come over. Anybody writing this down? Anybody writing this down?
We need to hire some brown juice barbershop scribes.
Exactly. Exactly. What was I talking about last time? Okay. Like, roll it up, set it up.
Word.
Good. That's pretty good. I was have you ever heard of the Criterion Collection?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's probably around you. And it's an article today in a big paper in New York that we're trying to tell you what the Times is about. And they ain't no sponsors, so I ain't gonna shout them out. Great article about the problem with it. And for me, it's a great discussion of how, if anyone's ever struggled with what and why we have affinity space, this article is a perfect reflection of it. So Criterion Collection is like the best movies out there, the best indie movies, independent, beautiful, good stuff. And there's lots of stuff you've never heard of, all kinds of things. I mean, they're like, probably there are thousands of films in there and lots of directors. And there is not one black male born after 1957, I think they were saying in the article today, that has a film in there. And there's only 4 black American male directors, I think 4 black female American directors. No, excuse me, no, 1 black female director. And she's international. So there's all 4 black male directors, no African-American female directors in their collection. Like the official DVD, the old school Howard. Because it started as laser discs. That's how it started. It was like, get your Criterion. And it's like a movie, amazing movies. But they never included black people. And the gentleman who ran it, it's just a bunch of white guys who just never thought about that. When they were sent Julie Dash's Daughters of the Dust, they didn't get it. Like, I don't get this film, or they were heard about other stuff and just didn't watch it because it didn't register. And it's incredible how we put all this ability and ownership and expectation gifts to them to decide to tell us what's good and what's bad, and they can't even look. They don't have like they don't remember seeing some black film. So the article was talking about how they were just, and I've met these guys, and they're nice people, but they just don't think about black. You know, you've been in those spaces where people just don't think about black people.
Yes.
Like
yes.
It's just not in their heads. And I was like, this is why we have affinity space.
Yes.
If you are making major decisions that affect success, development, self-worth, you know, feel like your project is expected, and there's this high bar, but it's just a bunch of guys, it's a bunch of white guys who know each other, talk to each other, and know what they like, you know? And I think about those moments of when I've been thinking of this in my neighborhood, the East Village. You know, I think it's dangerous to be in places where your aesthetic is not appreciated.
Absolutely.
It's real dangerous. And Absolutely. I thought about that, how living here in the East Village, like, I'm like, this is detrimental to my spirit, heart, and soul. You know, I love my big old apartment, but I've been thinking about that for a couple of years now. Like, this isn't it. And then I'm also older now, and all the older people done jetted. Like me and a couple others like creeping along.
That's real. That's really real, and I appreciate you framing it that way too. Also talking about being in spaces where people appreciate your aesthetic, or where your aesthetic is appreciated. It reminds me of my work in admissions. When I used to work in admissions, secondary and post-secondary, and however diverse your admissions staff was usually a reflection of how diverse your incoming student population would be.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you think about the fact that you have people who are judging a certain thing, but they're not of that culture, nor is there many people who are reflective of what they're judging, how can you really understand it, let alone appreciate the aesthetic? Or how could you ever really make it something that is valuable or lift up what's valuable from that space without really understanding it from firsthand experience, or having someone who's in your circle talking to you about, hey, this is what we should be thinking about, this is what we should be looking for, etc. So when we talk about diversity or lack thereof, it's usually because the people who are, whether it's the Oscars, whether it's, you know, who's getting admitted to a certain school, whether it's the awards about best music, best artists, who are these folks making the decisions? Do they appreciate the aesthetic that's actually being the one that's being evaluated and critiqued? And usually the answer is no, it's not as diverse, it's not as reflective. Even when you think about policy making, you know, all these folks are the policymakers, the ones who, you know, have a lot of folks talking about, you know, public education and what's good for public education, what's not good for public education, yet their kids go to private schools. So when we think about all these pieces, it's like, come on now. And that's where the distrust comes, etc. It's like, you're not in it. You're not in it, and people who are in it with you are not in it either. So it doesn't really reflect my experience. So you can't possibly tell me what's good. You can't appreciate it.
No, you can't tell me nothing. And that personal, I think about this in terms of presidents, the past couple of years of presidents, you know, we went to war in Iraq and no blood for oil, all that stuff, because George Bush Jr. was mad what they did to his daddy. Barack Obama pushed really hard for health care. His grandma died because she couldn't afford her health insurance, her payments, a couple of months before, right before he became, I think it was like the week of him getting elected, or after getting, the week of the inauguration, you know, and your current president, you know, he declared that opioids, et cetera, were a national emergency. He had a brother OD. His brother died from alcoholism and OD on drugs years ago. And I bet we can trace back through history all these major implementations, like major plans folks pushed on, that probably touch right into their hearts and souls.
That's a word.
Right? Yeah. So I think, yeah, we push for what we need and we want. I try and be like fair and balanced wherever I can, and think about how am I making decisions that reflect the general need versus my own personal. It's hard. So
absolutely. And you know, I'm giving a couple of presentations coming up this week, and in one of them I'm going to invoke the question I've always been sitting with, wrestling with, and I know you have been too, because we've talked about it here, with this pandemic, with all the stuff that's happening in terms of this civil unrest. An NPR Code Switch had a episode about it. Why now, white people? So when we're talking about all those things, like why now? What changed? What happened? What's different? Why now, white people? So when you think about it, it's like you really have to experience something firsthand, whether it's pain or suffering, in order for things to be made plain to you, or you really need to experience something that directly impacts you, affects you, takes away some of your privilege, makes you feel unsafe, in order for you to say that, guess what, maybe other folks have been feeling this for quite some time now. So just really thinking about that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's major. It's major. The work that needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
No question. Mm-hmm. No question at all.
And the best way to frame that work, what needs to happen, is this, that, and the third.
I think you did it again. You give us a title. You got a title for the episode right there.
Yes, sir.
You know, when you hear somebody really use it in conversation.
Oh.
Drop it. Do you use it in your professional environments?
You know what? I usually replace this, that, and the third with like ABC or XYZ. That's usually like the professional version of that. You know, you could be talking for argument's sake about X, Y, and Z, and blah, 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 blah. I don't know if I've dropped this, that, and the third yet. But you know what? The same way you learn a vocabulary word, I will challenge myself to use it this week. This, that, and the third, either in a presentation or in a meeting or something.
Yeah, I may have to join you in that, because I was counting and I have 10 presentations this week.
Oh my goodness.
Like 10 of them. I'm sitting here like, I'm glad, like you said, I'm glad people are engaging, but I've just been thinking about them, preparing and looking at the work and knowing the difficult characters who show up like this, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. I commit to using this, that, and the third also. I hope I don't like chuckle and mess up.
Yes. Okay, we have to do that. Compare notes at the end of the week. Compare our field notes.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Well, brother, if you don't mind, I'd like to toast to your 10 presentations and the success of them because of the great work that I know you do and everybody else knows you do. That's why you got 10 presentations, brother. So to you, may the strength and the force and everything you need be with you.
I accept it. I need it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good friend.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Beautiful.
Another great one.
Yeah, once again, I love it. Short and sweet, right to the point.
Yes, sir. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace.
Brown Juice Barbershop.
Yep.